Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So today we are going to present our Emd5M8B G3 group assignment, which is an industrial report. So we have been given the task to make a desktop research on a particular manufacturing company in Malaysia or abroad. So from our desktop search and discussion among the group members, we have decided to choose this company based in Japan. The name of this company is Sky Group. So in this slide, I'm going to give a basic introduction about this company. So Kai Group is a company that forges blades, which has a history of over 800 years in the manufacturing of blades. So the Kai Group was founded in Seki City, Gifu, by a man named Sajiro Endo in 1908. So the head office for Kai Group was Kai Corporation, which is situated in Tokyo, Japan. So nowadays, the Kai Group president and COO were Hiroki Endo. So for the next slide, I'm going to give a basic information about this company. So Kai Group was a company that produced forged blades for cutlery, kitchen utensils, beauty care products, confectionery utensils, and many more. The registered capital for this company cost about 450 million yen, with 8 industrial buildings in 5 countries, which are the United States of America, Japan, Shanghai, Vietnam, and India. So the total number of staff as April 2020 is around 2,530 people, with 43.9 billion yen sales as reported in March 2020.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Emd5M8B G3 and I will be explain about manufacturing process that involve to produce knife. Firstly, it is about machining. In this production, there will be 5 process in machining. Firstly is laser cutting. Laser beam is directed to the material and cut up the shape of the knife. It is controlled by computer where it will get finely cutting, but it requires more time than press working process. Next is thermal process. The workpiece that had been cut is heated at 1000 degrees Celsius in an electric furnace and then cool off at water temperature. The knife structure becomes hard. After being cooled, the blade is heated again at 180 degrees Celsius. Blades not only hard and tough but also elastic. Next is surface grinding. The periphery of the blade is polished with polishing belt. The surface of the blade tip is thinly grinded. This process is important where it allows to obtain the beautiful pattern. Next is blade leveling or grazing. Process consists of polishing the blade tip with a particular polishing material, making it take the shape of the smooth hard clamp. The entire blade is more finely polished. Lastly, in machining is bolster welding. Bolster is welded to the blade. The bolster is part of the handle that reinforces the junction between the blade and the handle. By welding and fixing the bolsters to the handle, it becomes difficult for water to penetrate and handle's durability increases. The next major process is assemble. In the assembling process, handle and rear bolsters are fitted to the blade. Laminated wood is used as material for handle as it is excellently water resistant. To prevent the penetration of water sealing material are used. The last major process to produce knife is finishing. In finishing, there will be 5 processes involved. Firstly is mirror polishing or abrasive blast. The blade is inserted between 2 rolls and is polished until it reflects image like a mirror. Then, abrasive blasting process is done by spraying glass bead on it. The difference of surface roughness of soft parts and hard parts of the stainless steel is unique, straightforward that characteristic Damascus kitchen knives. The second process is wood handle polishing or bolster polishing. The process is polishing the handle of assembled knives. The bolster and the rear bolster will obtain a beautiful smooth handle. The third process is printing and marking. Each kitchen knife has a mark printed on it which indicates its brand name and the lot number that enables to identify its manufacturing date. It enables to identify the history of utilized materials, the date and time when each process was carried out. The fourth process is wet type blade aging. This method of blade utilized for the high class lineup by doing the grinding, pouring water on the whetstone. It is possible to avoid the production of friction, heat, and to increase greatly its smoothness and the cutting quality of the blade tips. Lastly is inspection and packaging. The burrs which displace edges formed during grinding are removed using tail leather. And after this process, the knife can be considered completely complete. The blade knives are strictly inspected and controlled with measuring instrument in order to ensure the cutting sharpness and durability. Then, completed knives are carefully packed in boxes. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Syahwan Nizam Roslan. I will explain about design concept. The design concept of kitchen knife for Kai Group was start with identify the specific usage for the customer. The customer needed of kitchen knife usage to cut the different thing. Encourage Kai Group to come up with the new ideas for the kitchen knife design. It is because each thing that want to cut has a different stiffness, thickness, curve and size that lead to produce a different parameter and colors of the kitchen knife. At the design level, the design process start with sketch the idea. The all idea was laid out on the paper and start figure out the functional aspect. Once the basic concept that suitable of the design has been chosen, the sketch were scanned and bring them into computer-aided design software such as CATIA and SolidWorks. From there, the sketch will start laying out the functional geometry in two-dimensional, drawing the profile of the knife and adding the pivot location. Then the blade was checked to make sure that it can open and fit in the handle. It need the utmost precision throughout the entire manufacturing process to make sure the blade fit with the handle. Once all the process work out, the design of the kitchen knife was turned into 3D model.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Syafiq bin Madamil and I will be explaining about quality assurance. So quality assurance can be defined as any systematic process of determining whether a product or service meets the specific requirement that ensure the product is reliable and functional to the customers. So here I will be describe much further a couple of quality assurance that this company might have done to ensure that their product to be the finest and functional once it reach the customer. So the firstly is the visual inspection. So where they examine the condition of the knife, whether they're having any defects such as chipping or bent tips. Secondly is the blade sharpness test, where they test the knife experimentally by cutting some food ingredients such as fruits and vegetables. Next, they check the knife balance set. This is to ensure the knife is well balanced in terms of the weight, the ratio of the handle and the knife blade, so that it makes the cutting action easier and requires much less effort. Last but not least, they done a heat treatment to ensure the hardness of the blade is much tougher and without making the whole blade brittles.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Muhammad Sharin Shazwan bin Muhammad Sa'ad. So, in my part, I will explain about the product produced by Kai Group. Based on my search, Kai Group has produced some products such as razor, scissors, kitchen knife, and nail clippers. But in our assignment, we will explain about kitchen knife. So, in Kai Group, there are several companies that produce kitchen knife. One of them is Shun Company, while the other one is Sekimago Group. So, both of the companies has produced some series for their kitchen knife. In Shun Company, one of the series is Shun Premier, which the blade material is used VG10 stainless steel, while the knife handle, they use symmetric oval walnut wood composite design which can prevent knife from slipping from hand. This series of knife can be known by hammer finish pattern, which it has its own function, which is avoid sticky knife. So the example for this series is Shun PM paring knife 4 that can be used for peeling fruit and cutting vegetables, and the other one is Shun PM utility knife 6.5 that's suitable for peeling fruit and cutting meat. This example can be shown as in the image in the presentation. The other series is Shun Classic. In this series, the material used for blade also VG10 stainless steel. The company claimed that this knife will not destroy the fibers and nutrients in food. For the knife handle, it has D-shaped design, which can fit perfectly into palm. The knives from this series is such as Shun Classic Nakiri 6.5 that's suitable for cutting vegetables, and Shun Classic Santoku Scallop Edge 7 that suitable for serve basic ingredients in kitchen. In Sekimagoroku Company, one of the series is Sekimanju. The material of blade used for this series is stainless steel, while the handle is made from plastic or polypropylene, can handle heat to 110 degrees Celsius. The example from the series is Sekimanju Nakri knife 165 mm, where it has sensitive cutting edge and compact blade that easier for cutting vegetables, while the other one is Sekimanju chef knife 180 mm. Knife is designed for conventional western style such as shredding vegetables and cutting, slicing and cubing meat. The other series is cleaver knife. So in this series, the material used for blade is cutlery steel, while the handle has D-shaped design, which it has ergonomic design and easy to grip. So the example for this series is mid cleaver 7-inch 3.5 mm, which suitable for processing hard bones such as ribs and chicken bones. And while the other one is sharp point Chinese cleaver 7-inch 2.5 mm, which it has smaller size that's suitable for women or beginner cooks. So that's all from me.
There are lots of problems that might be faced either by the user or even as early as during the manufacturing process where the product having a defect. A product defect is any characteristic of the said product that hinders its function as intended. It may cause by either excessive usage or misuse usage or even during the manufacturing process itself having a defect. So firstly is the scratch mark on the blade where due to the improper ways of packaging and might be due to the poor care during usage, such as the knife having a contact with abrasive surface. So secondly is the broken tip, where the user might misuse the knife by stabbing the tip of the knife on hard surface such as rocks and the others. Next is the dent mark, where it due to the poor annealing technique at early stage of the production or forcefully impact after it manufactured. It also might be cause of inaccurately controlled temperature during annealing, causing the blade vulnerable to any surface defects. It also might be due to the rough handling either during production, packaging, distribution or even when being used by the user. So last but not least, the blade might have a chip edge where the knife is used on a hard surface such as ceramic plate or stones or drop from the high places.
So the product that we have choose for this assignment is kitchen knives. From the findings, we have described the process to produce kitchen knives, which are laser cutting, thermal process, grinding, grazing, welding, polishing, edging, and finishing. All the process need to be done carefully in order to achieve the right size and dimension to make sure the quality of the knife is always in the top level. So basically there is an alternative for Kai Group to produce the kitchen knives with less cost. The suggestion is to replace the laser technology. There is an alternative process to produce the kitchen knife, which is a press working process using a mold. One of the biggest advantage of using a mold is in terms of time, as this process is much faster than laser cutting and produce a lot of knives but in a short time. In Germany, a company named Zweiling J.A. Henkels had used this method for a long time. The molding process has been proven to be an alternative machining process for Kai Group to be considered in the future. So the reason why we choose a laser cutting process to be replaced is due to its disadvantages. So one of the disadvantages for laser cutting process is in terms of time. The laser cutting process requires more time as it is a long process. The other reason why we choose laser cutting is due to the cost of the machine. Laser cutting machines can reach upwards of $1 million, but Kai Group is a well-known company around the world. So, in terms of the cost, it will not be a problem for them. But they can be considered using another manufacturing process in the future. And one of the suggestion that we made is using a mold process.